In October 2017, a woman named Lindsay reached out to me and the crew at Chrome Yellow, asking us if we could help her with her project. That project is the bus you see behind me. It obviously didn't start out that way. We started with a totally stock 2000 Thomas school bus with a Cummins 24-valve engine and an Allison MD 3060, fresh off the district. In my opinion, one of the better platforms you can find for yourself. Rear engine bus means the engine's back there, nice and quiet, and you get all this livable space from bumper to bumper to use for your home. What's unique about this build and what sets it apart from other builds you've seen on my channel is that we didn't actually finish this build in our shop. We did what's called a rough-in. That's where we took the stock bus, demoed it, took out all the things that make it a school bus, blocked out the original windows in a few places, installed RV windows, insulated the bus with spray foam, put insulation in the floor, and then installed all of her mechanicals. So the propane, plumbing, gray water, solar, the mini split, the wood stove, you know, all the tricky, dangerous things you probably don't want to do on your own. And then we gave it back to her. Something you should know about Lindsay is she is an art teacher. So you can imagine the inside of this bus is very colorful, very creative, and full of a lot of awesome personality that honestly we can't put into projects that roll off of our floor because, well, we're just not that creative, I suppose. It's a really awesome build, and it's a great example, in my opinion, of what can happen when you do a project like this on your own but choose to hire out the parts that you don't really want to mess with. There's no reason you have to learn plumbing or how to install a solar system to get into bus life. And there's no reason you can't build a bus that's full of your own personality while you hire out work along the way. I think this is an awesome build. It just so happens to be for sale. And if you would like to purchase this bus, you can find her contact information down below in the video description. But let's get started on this tour. I'll take you around the outside, show you some of the exterior features this bus has, and then we'll work our way inside and show off all of the personal touches she's filled this bus with that if you're a certain kind of person, this might just light your fire. So let's get started, show you what's going on. One of the hardest parts when you're starting a school bus project is how far you're going to go with things. And inevitably, part of that question is answered by what you choose to do with the windows and the exterior of the bus. On Lindsay's bus, we struck a hybrid. We kept a lot of the school bus windows in the front because that's a really great aesthetic that a lot of folks love, and it's honestly one of the reasons people get excited about converting a school bus. I know the stock school bus windows are one of the things that I love the most about school buses. We kept some of the school bus windows up front. We did reseal them. And then back here into the kitchen and the living, bedroom area of her bus, we actually removed the school bus windows and installed new sheet metal into which we cut in openings for a few windows. We weren't keeping all of them, but a few windows so that she could still get natural light and have good ventilation and have windows with screens in them. And that's something a lot of folks don't think about, but stock school bus windows, they don't have screens. And there's bugs everywhere. So we left the school bus windows in the front, resealed them, installed fresh skins and new insulated RV windows to help make sure that this bus is ready for all 4 seasons, which we do get out here in Colorado, where Lindsay's been living in this bus. Also, on the outside here, there's not too much happening on this side. We've got the propane tank access panel here. Again, that's from SKOOLIE.com. And then right here, we have the vent for her battery box. Lindsay's bus uses lead acid batteries, and because they're inside, they need to be self-contained in a box that is sealed and vented to the outside. Spread out across the roof of this bus, you can see the 6 solar panels that are on here. Those add up to just over 2,000 watts of total solar on the roof. And then toward the front, you can see the stainless steel chimney pipe that's connected to a dwarf 5 kilowatt tiny wood stove, which does a great job of keeping this bus nice and toasty and cozy in the wintertime. Around here on the back, we've got a Pioneer mini split. It's a 12,000 BTU model. It's been keeping her cool for many years now, and these things just do great. I can't suggest them or recommend them enough. This is one of the first that we did, and it's still doing just fine, keeping it nice and comfortable in there. This bus features a Cummins 24-valve, 5.9 liter straight 6 turbo diesel engine, one of the more sought after buses in the SKOOLIE world. This bus is interesting because that engine is actually mated to an Allison MD 3060. That's one of my favorite transmissions, maybe the best transmission ever put in a school bus. It's Allison's heaviest duty school bus transmission, and it features an overdrive. One option that you could do with this bus is take it into an Allison dealer and actually have them unlock 6th gear, because it is a 6-speed transmission. That 6th speed is a double overdrive, and what that'll do is when you're cruising down the highway, it gives you one more gear of overdrive, not necessarily to improve your top speed, but to improve your miles per gallon and take your engine RPMs and drop them when you're at cruising speed across the highway. So instead of turning 23 or 2400 RPM at 60 miles an hour, you're turning 18 or 1900 RPM. Engine will love you for it, but it works fine as is because it still has an overdrive. A really awesome feature. I always tell people, if you can find a bus that has that transmission, that's the best transmission you can ask for. Rounding out the features on this side of the bus, you can see we only kept one original school bus window. We did, however, keep the emergency exit here on the side, which is a really cool way to have access to this side of the bus when you're inside the kitchen or whatnot. Right below it, we've added a luggage bay so that you can have storage for things that you don't want to bring inside the bus. Working our way down, we have one of my favorite water heaters. You've seen this on a lot of our builds. This is a 10-gallon combination gas-electric water heater. I really like these because they can use electricity, so in the summertime when your panels are pumping out lots of juice and you don't have a use for it, you can use it to make hot water. Or in the winter time, or if you just want to make hot water faster, you can use the propane or the propane and electric at the same time. Gives you lots of options. I think it's a really good choice for lots of people who don't want to go with a tankless water heater. Right here we've got our freshwater inlet. It's got connections for connecting to city water and also a gravity fill for filling up the tank inside the bus. Lindsay's got a 100-gallon freshwater tank. Here's our connection to shore power. It's a 50-amp connection, which is more than enough for all of the electrical needs of this bus. And then next to that, we've got a connection, so if you're at a park, you can hook into the cable TV or cable internet right here and have a way to take that to the inside without, cracking a window or whatever. And the last bit of kit over here on the driver's side is Lindsay's gray water tank. She's got a 80-gallon tank tucked up under the skirt with the drain valve right here. Before we go inside, I'd have to talk about one of my favorite features of this bus, which is the fact that because it's from Colorado, it's virtually rust-free. I said it time and time again, don't buy rusty buses. And this is no exception. It's not a rusty bus. Makes you feel good inside, doesn't it? Let's go inside and take a look at all the things Lindsay's done to make this bus feel like home. The first thing we got to talk about here is Lindsay's front door. Rather than building a custom door from scratch, she chose to keep the original school bus door, which I really love because it has these panes of glass down here at the bottom. And we modified it in our shop and added a heavy-duty RV latch so that this door is now totally latchable, just like a regular door. And as a bonus, look at that. It opens in one piece right down the middle. You can see here where we welded the two halves of the door together. Great solution, an easy way to make a front door if you've got a welder. All right, I hope that the white exterior did not fool you into thinking we were not about to step into a rainbow of colors. So right off the hop, we've got the original floor treads, honestly the most durable option for the stairs, transitioning right into a vinyl plank floor. And this is an interesting combination throughout the whole bus. Lindsay actually used a lot of found and purchased furniture to complete her aesthetic, but this is the view looking back, and the bathroom is actually right here in the front. But here in the driver's area, we've got the usual cockpit, and I really like these Thomas buses. They have awesome view out of the front. It's like playing a video game, and you've got this like race car steering wheel. Really good cockpit, probably second only to those Mercedes Freightliner cockpits. But yeah, just tons of personal touches. Little bookshelf up here, and then there's the front area and dash. Moving back, here we've got our tiny wood stove. It's a dwarf 5 kilowatt unit, so it's a little on the big side. She was full-time living in this in northern Colorado, and as you know, we do get all of the seasons up there. And here we have her bathroom built over the wheel well. We built a lot of this cabinetry for her. She took the finishing on herself. And then over here we have the usual Nature's Head composting toilet and a nice little bathroom window here. Check out those light fixtures. Walking in farther into the living space, you can see the row of original bus windows that we kept. We've got some more of our, usual indirect downlighting using rope lights that we love. Here's a kind of cool living space on top of this big trunk. Lots of colors. We have a little workstation here, and this is actually one of those ones that you can latch it and flop it down if you like. And then moving into the kitchen, we've got 2 more of those flip up little, I don't know what you'd call this, shelves. They're like shelves. Low butcher's block cutting board. And then coming around here, this is the that emergency side exit I was talking about earlier. So it's really cool if you're posted up somewhere and you want fresh air in the kitchen. You can just pull this pin out and open the door up, and all of a sudden this hot stove is not such a burden. You can see here, so Lindsay's inspiration for this was like a shotgun home from New Orleans, Louisiana, and that's all the purple and yellows and greens. Something I'm sympathetic to as a Cajun myself. Here we've got the Vitrifrigo. It's a 12 volt DC marine style fridge, super nice fridge, full size freezer and fridge below it. Really one of the best ways you can go. Up here we've got our fantastic vent fan with a skylight behind it, and that opens up right into her bedroom. And this is a really cool bedroom, so it's on a raised platform. Below the platform is her freshwater tank and her battery bank. And then back here we've got the Pioneer mini split indoor section so that you have all of your cooling right where you want it. But you can also get tons of light in through the skylight up here. She's got the RV windows on each side. And then in the back, we've got the original bus windows, but they are kind of obfuscated by a vintage glass door that's kind of like frosted. Super cool layout. Right here we have her closet. It's just an open closet, but then behind the closet we actually have the box with her water heater and her water heater controls here for gas and electric. And then this is where she can check the levels of her tanks as well. So that's a really nice thing. And over here down low, over here we have controls for her Magnum inverter. This has a 24 volt system, large array. We've got 12 golf cart batteries actually running this. And then a Midnight Classic charge controller. So right now we're running the mini split full bore, and the batteries are just sitting at 100%. If you can see it there in the bottom right corner, battery 100%. So another solar system doing its thing, keeping up easily with the demands of that Pioneer mini split. This is a view from the back looking forward. Just a really cozy spot filled with a lot of personality. So different from the last tour we did. That was a little more minimal and kind of muted on the colors. And this one's just popping off, which I love. I'm not good at knowing what's cool. I just know what I like. And what I like is colorful stuff. But really fun, really cozy space. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tour of Lindsay's bus.
I do too.
Yeah. But it wouldn't be complete without giving you a tour of Lindsay as well. Here she is. Met Lindsay in 2017 when she hired me and the crew to do this bus rough-in for her.
I would say when the universe brought us together, because it was a magical moment of meeting.
I like that story more.
Yep.
It was not a business transaction.
Nope. It was two people finding each other at the right place at the right time.
With a bus.
Yep, exactly.
So, before we close out this video, I just wanted to, have Lindsay share some insights and a little bit about, what it's been like. You've got to live in a bus in all 4 seasons in Colorado for just about 5 years.
Yeah.
And, outside of this bus too, what's it been like for you? And if somebody's interested in either buying this bus or getting into bus life, what would you say to them?
Okay. First things first, I am not the typical bus traveler because I was parked most of my time.
Same. Yeah.
I adventured in the summer and, I'm a teacher, so that was my whole MO. And I loved having a spot in Fort Collins. I was up at the reservoir. I had a beautiful view. I was out of the city, but still close to everything.
Yeah.
And I was just fortunate enough to find a spot that I was able to go in and out with ease. And so I think that's the number one thing is that you have to figure out where you want to be. And if you want to be on the road, then that's less of an issue than if you want to be parked full time. I was a teacher and I wanted to live, and be a part of my community. And so it was just a perfect fit for me. And it's not always rainbows and sunshine. I mean, in the winter, you still get frozen pipes and you still have to have kind of backup. But I love the caveat of this bus of disconnecting the bathroom from the shower because with the shower plumbing fully insulated, it never froze. The only thing that's frozen is the water pump. But I think we had talked about that. Once I put a heating lamp down there, hadn't had an issue since. So it's I think putting the big wood burning stove in, especially living in Colorado, was really important because I don't have to do tiny pieces of wood. I can do full size logs in there.
That is really nice. So I lived with the smallest version of the same brand of wood stove, tiny wood stove. They're awesome wood stoves. This is not a knock on them. Any small wood stove can be a real pain in the butt when you have to literally. That's how long the pieces of wood could be for my stove, and I mean for yours, it's double that.
They can do 12 to 16 inches, which is usually what I'll ask them to cut. And I will say, I've had fires burn through the night. I can wake up in the morning and, there's still embers in there and I can restart the fire, so...
I don't know what that's like.
It's a beautiful thing, especially when it's, -10 outside.
No doubt.
And, I mean, that's not... I will usually run the mini split at the same time, being plugged into shore power, and that creates a very cozy space. I've never been uncomfortable in this bus, in the winter. And then in the summer... The skylights, it'll get warm in here, so I sometimes will diffuse that with a scarf or something. Yeah. But just those little things I've found that make living. I mean, my everyday life is I don't think of it as much different than anybody else. As I get up, I go to work.
Yeah.
Totally. Come home, I take a shower.
It's just a house.
I have a composting toilet instead of a regular toilet. I'm more conscientious about my water use because I only have 100 gallons, and I usually. Only takes me about a month to go through that, so... That's
pretty good.
Yeah. This was an exercise not just in, being creative and having, a fun blank canvas to play with. I mean, as an art teacher, I know you probably talked about that, this was so much fun for me to do, and there's still unfinished projects that are waiting for someone else to take over, is what I say. But, it's it was also the idea of being able to be mindful of, what I'm using and what I'm, how much power I'm using. And I realize I use very little of everything, and that makes me, at the end of the day, that makes me feel good. And so, when you're looking at, wanting to be that kind of environmentally forward-thinking person, I don't think there's anything better than doing something like this.
Totally. You can literally see exactly how much of everything you use.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And it's very empowering, too.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you are selling the bus, and what's next for you?
Big, I don't know.
Okay.
No, I mean, I'm going to go to the South Pacific. I've got a plane booked, ticket booked to Fiji, and... Hopefully I can connect with some friends that sail, and I really want to learn, boat life. It's a lot similar.
Next.
Yeah, it's a lot similar, systems and everything.
Wow.
And, it's just you're not on the land, you're on the ocean. So we'll see what happens.
I love that.
I could hate it. I could get motion sickness. I could be crap. This is the worst side. I told people, I was like, it's either going to be the best experience or I'm going to end up on Dateline. So. They're like, hopefully it's a good Dateline episode. I'm like, no, it'll probably be the terrible one. But yeah, no, I'm ready to kind of go explore and teach abroad and explore abroad and travel abroad, and I need to do that with as little possession as possible. So
yeah, totally.
that's what I'm looking to. Yeah,
even less than living in what is like 280 square feet or something like that.
It's funny because I think about like growing up. I lived in like a very like never lived in need of anything, and I've slowly, progressively like gotten smaller. My dad tells me I live in neo poverty. Kind of like, I'll take it. I mean,
at least it's cheerful.
But this has been the like best space I've lived in. It's the smallest space. Wow. I mean, I came from the townhouse that I sold was like 660 square feet. So
it's like half of that.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's still perfect. And I still am like, I would do it smaller. If I did it again, I would do a tiny bus. I would do either like a big Sprinter van or like a short bus.
Yeah.
So 33 feet is a lot for living, and it's just for driving and, unless you got like a bunch of people or dogs, I mean.
And you don't have any of that.
No. I had a cat. I had a cat once.
Oh.
Eddie. He used to live right here. So, right?
Well, thanks for sharing your bus with us, your home.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, and thank you for, again, hiring us to do the work that we did do. And to anybody who is interested in purchasing this, it is for sale. I'll make sure that Lindsay's contact information is in the video description, so you can shoot any questions her way. It's an awesome bus. It's kind of, in a lot of ways, it's still a blank canvas because you can come in here and still really personalize it if you want. Or leave it as is and it's ready to go and be lived in and enjoyed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like this stuff, hit the subscribe button because I want to buy a new lens. Thanks. We'll see you next time.
I'm talking, is it working? Are you getting it? Motorcycle. That guy's got great hair. Can't even talk. Don't even have a tongue.